Time Walker is an interesting little film. It came at a time that I kind of was transitioning. I mean, I was feeling quite confident in a lot of the genre stuff that I was doing. What was interesting about Time Walker is I had a little bit of experience with an editor, and I believe through the editor, who had used some of my music from Alchemist or a couple of other movies, that got to the music supervisor on Time Walker, whose name was David Franco. And David is someone who I was introduced to, and we really hit it off because David Franco is Italian, and we just sort of, as two Italian guys do, we just sort of really hit it off and spoke Italian and really got along. And it came along that they were doing this movie, and it was a first-time producer, very nice fellow. His name was Dimitri Villard. It had all the great problems of a first-time producer and first-time director. It had a lot of silliness in it. It was a sort of a teen movie in some ways, but horror in another. But there's one scene that always sticks out in my mind because it was just so funny, is the mummy is supposed to be floating, but this being a very, very low budget movie, they actually put the mummy on roller skates. And there's this one scene in the movie where he's like peeking in a window or something, and he like passes by this window, and he really looks like he's on roller skates. So you can't really deny it. It looks really, really cheesy. So it was one of those films that had some really cool elements to it and some really cheesy ones all put together. Well, interestingly, with Time Walker, again, it was a low budget film. I would imagine low budget in those days was in the area of $1 million, $1.5 million or something like that, which was fine. So there was a budget to work with, and I had come off films, that were basically considered low budget by standards, but again, we were pulling off scores with orchestras, which was not done in those days. There were very few and far between. People at New World, like James Horner, he was putting some orchestras together. There were really a handful of us who had that opportunity. It was important to establish a production value in those days. And because of that, it's the ingredient, and my insistence on it, actually, it's the ingredient that then led me to be able to score other films with larger budgets, like Metal Storm, which was a Universal movie, and a lot of the films, like Mutant, which I did with the London Symphony, Ghost Warrior, which was the Royal Philharmonic, even later Reanimator with the Rome Philharmonic. And had I not in those days really insisted on an organic element to what had been very synthesized up to that point, I don't think I would have ever had the opportunities to score some of the bigger films. And up to Time Walker, I had done quite a few films with small orchestras. I can't remember which may have been the biggest. It was a good experience, I can't deny that. It wasn't a big budget movie, it was a super low budget movie, but still, we managed to pull together a small orchestra of about 25, 30 pieces, and the score turned out pretty well.